Hey everyone, I'm Nikki Starcat Shields. Thanks for watching my video series. This is part 5 of our basic book skeleton series, and it's called The Cleanup. So in the last phase, we were talking about doing the work, writing your book. So that, obviously, if you're writing a whole book, is going to take a while. So do you remember those little segue things in old TV shows and movies that are meant to kind of convey that time passes? So the scene either kind of fades into a blur, or they show a montage of random scenes rippling by, or maybe the main character sort of gazes off into space, looking dreamy and thoughtful, and time passes. So, and the accompanying music is fun. It's often kind of a bubbly, spacey tune that then resolves as the new scene, which is sometime in the future, begins to fade in. Actually, I think of the, was it Wayne's World, where they did the, or was it Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? I don't know. There was one of those silly movies where they were like, okay, time passes. So imagine that has happened. And now you are arriving merrily on the shores of having finished your first draft of your book. And this is phase 5, the cleanup. So first thing, important thing I need to tell you, after your first draft of your book is done, please, for the love of the muses, take a break. Take a break from your book project. Go outside, hang out with your favorite people. Cats and dogs totally count. Devour that book you've been wanting to read, but maybe you didn't have time because you were writing. Reward yourself with some non-writing related fun things that you enjoy to kind of bring, recharge yourself, bring your energy back. And also celebrate the fact that you did a big, important thing. Celebrate. Don't skip this step. It's essential to both honor your amazing persistence and to get some distance from the manuscript that you just poured your heart into. So the taking a break and the celebrating, build those times into this process of writing your book. Once you've done that, once you've taken a break from your work, then you can start to put on that fancy editor hat. Gee, I should have had a hat for this video. Oh, well, next time. And jump back in. So how long is this period of time where you're taking a break and celebrating? I don't know. It can last anywhere from a week to a month. It depends on your own situation. But I would say that's generally more than a day, probably less than 2 months, because you don't want to completely lose track of what's going on and not do the next part. So once you've done that, here's what you need to do next. Read through what you've written and just start correcting or deleting or adding as you feel the manuscript needs. Now, this isn't the thing where you get super perfect and make it ready for publication. We'll get there, but this is just, making your sentences complete, making the thread. Now, this will depend on if you're writing nonfiction or fiction, but say if it's fiction, making sure the plot, subplots all kind of come to some kind of conclusion and make sense. If it's nonfiction, making sure you didn't repeat yourself too much and that you included all the information that you wanted to include. Don't be too serious or too critical at this time. Just kind of massage the draft. This isn't your final edit, and it doesn't have to be picture perfect. But it does have to make sense. Just so massage your draft until it makes sense and captures the feel of that original idea of yours when you set out to write a book. A really important pro tip for this, reading your draft out loud will help you uncover passages and particular sentences and paragraphs that are in need of some work. So try reading out loud to yourself. So just continue this process of playfully cleaning up your draft until you feel reasonably good about it, or at least willing to show it to other human beings. That's a thing. I know that can be big. Know that at this point it's still a draft. It's a second draft, yes, but it's still in progress. So the cleanup phase is essentially it's the process of bringing a really rough draft manuscript to a point where it's understandable to someone who's not you, who doesn't live inside your head. So this part is something you can do on your own. You may want to hire an editor for other parts of editing your book, but doing that first pass yourself is key. So you can do this on your own. In the next phase, you'll be getting some fresh input and assistance. So stay tuned for that. But this is kind of the cleanup, the very first cleanup of your document once you've written it. That is phase 5. So stay tuned, and in a couple of weeks, I will come back with phase 6. I'm Nikki Starcat Shields. Thanks for watching.